Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a room full of people, but no one truly sees you? Like you're playing a role in a movie where everyone else knows the script except you? If this sounds familiar, you might be an INFJ, the rarest personality type in the Myers-Briggs world, making up less than 2% of the population. INFJs are often called the old souls or walking contradictions of the MBTI, and their relationships can feel like a roller coaster of deep connections and sudden clashes. But why do these empathetic, idealistic people struggle so much with the rest of the world? Buckle up as we dive into the 5 shocking reasons INFJs clash with everyone and what it reveals about their unique minds. 1. The INFJ paradox. Idealists trapped in a realist world. INFJs are walking bundles of contradictions. They crave deep, meaningful relationships, but get exhausted by small talk. They want to change the world, but feel crushed by its problems. Imagine spending your life trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. That's the daily reality for INFJs. Their brains are wired to focus on big picture ideas like justice, love, and human potential, but the real world often feels too messy, selfish, or shallow to match their dreams. This constant tug-of-war between their ideals and reality makes INFJs seem too sensitive or too intense to others. For example, an INFJ might spend hours planning a community project to help homeless families, only to snap at a friend who jokes about wasting food. To outsiders, the reaction seems over the top, but to the INFJ, that joke feels like a personal attack on their values. It's not just a clash of opinions. It's a clash of worldviews. 2. Reason 1. INFJs have a built-in fake detector, and it's always on. INFJs have a radar for spotting fakeness, and it never turns off. They can sense when someone's lying, hiding emotions, or just going through the motions. While this sounds like a superpower, it's actually exhausting. Imagine sitting through a work meeting where your boss says, "We value transparency," but your gut screams, "They're hiding budget cuts." Meanwhile, everyone else nods along. INFJs often feel like they're the only ones noticing the elephant in the room. But here's the problem. INFJs hate conflict. Instead of calling out the lie, they'll bottle it up, leading to silent resentment. Take Sarah, a 28-year-old INFJ nurse. She quit her hospital job after realizing her supervisor cared more about profits than patients. Every time she praised our hard work while cutting staff benefits, I felt sick, Sarah says. I couldn't pretend to respect her anymore. For INFJs, staying quiet feels like betraying themselves, but speaking up risks isolation. 3. Reason 2. Their empathy overloads like a broken faucet. INFJs don't just understand your feelings, they absorb them. If you're stressed, they'll feel your stress. If you're heartbroken, they'll cry with you. Scientists believe this happens because INFJs have hyperactive mirror neurons, brain cells that mimic others' emotions. While this makes them incredible friends, it's like having a broken emotional faucet that never stops dripping. Picture this. An INFJ attends a family dinner where their parents argue passive-aggressively. To everyone else, it's just normal drama. But the INFJ leaves feeling like they've been hit by a truck. Their brain replays every tense glance, sarcastic comment, and forced smile for days. Over time, they start avoiding gatherings not because they don't care, but because they care too much. I'd rather be lonely than emotionally drowned, admits Raj, an INFJ teacher. 4. Reason 3. They speak in secret code and get mad when you don't crack it. INFJs communicate like riddles wrapped in mysteries. Instead of saying, "I'm upset you forgot our anniversary," they might sigh and say, "Some promises fade faster than others." Then they're shocked when their partner doesn't understand. This happens because INFJs overestimate others' ability to read between the lines. They spend so much time analyzing hidden meanings that they forget most people take words at face value. For example, Lena, an INFJ artist, once told her roommate, "The kitchen feels heavy lately." She meant, "I'm overwhelmed by your mess and need help cleaning." But her roommate just opened a window and said, "Better." INFJs often end up feeling misunderstood, Not realizing their vague hints are like handing someone a map with no landmarks. 5. Reason 4. They're addicted to fixing broken people. INFJs are the ultimate fixers. They're drawn to people with sad eyes, tragic backstories, or unfulfilled potential. They'll spend years in toxic friendships thinking, I can heal them. But here's the truth. You can't love someone into changing. When the INFJ's efforts fail, and they usually do, the INFJ doesn't just walk away. They burn the bridge and mourn the relationship like a death. Take Mark, an INFJ who worked with a lazy coworker for 3 years. I covered her shifts, reminded her of deadlines, even bought her coffee, he says. I thought she'd finally wake up and take responsibility. Instead, she used her salary to buy a sports car and quit. INFJs often clash with others because they expect growth that never comes and blame themselves when it doesn't. 6. Reason 5. They expect you to read their minds and keep score. INFJs are masters at anticipating needs. They'll notice your caffeine addiction and surprise you with coffee. They'll remember your cat's birthday, but flip the script and they're crushed when others don't return the favor. An INFJ might drop hints for weeks about feeling burnout, waiting for someone to ask, are you okay? When no one does, they spiral into thoughts like, why does no one care about me? The hard truth? Most people aren't mind readers. INFJ's unspoken expectations become invisible tests that others fail without knowing they were being graded. This creates resentment on both sides. The INFJ feels neglected, while the other person feels blindsided by their sudden coldness. 7. How INFJs can survive in a world that doesn't get them. INFJs don't have to stay stuck in this cycle. Here's how they can turn clashes into connections. 1. Say what you mean. Replace hints with clear, kind statements like, I felt hurt when you didn't call. 2. Protect your energy. If a party drains you, leave early. You don't owe anyone an apology for self-care. 3. Accept imperfections. Not every relationship has to be soulmate level. Let some people just be coworkers or casual friends. For everyone else, if you love an INFJ, praise their insights. Ask, how are you really feeling? And never force them into small talk. It's like asking a poet to write a grocery list. 8. Why the world needs INFJs even when they're exhausting. History's greatest healers, artists, and visionaries like Nelson Mandela, Frida Kahlo, and even fictional heroes like Atticus Finch share INFJ traits. Their clashes aren't flaws, they're growing pains from seeing the world as it could be, not just as it is. INFJs remind us to care deeper, think bigger, and act kinder. As author and INFJ Isabel Briggs Myers once said, you have a gift for seeing the invisible threads that connect us all. Conclusion. So, do INFJs clash with everyone? Absolutely. But maybe that's the price of seeing the world in high-definition color while everyone else is stuck in black and white. To the INFJs watching, your intensity isn't a curse. It's a compass guiding you toward truth and meaning. And to everyone else, next time an INFJ seems too much, remember, they're not trying to annoy you. They're trying to love a world that often feels unlovable. After all, wouldn't life be boring without them?